Hello YouTube and welcome back to the channel here today. Today we're going to be watching another couple of episodes of Mawaru Penguindrum, episodes 8 and 9 here today I believe. So yeah, looking forward to it. Looking forward to continuing our wild, amazing journey with Ringo and Co. And yeah, it's kind of her show at the moment. It's really weird structurally if I'm honest. But anyway, we'll talk about it. We're back. I'm happy to be here. I'm very sunburnt, but that's neither here nor there. Kind of had the weekend off, hence why there was the delay on the girls band Cry, and another couple things as well that didn't get done. Anyway, I'm rambling. Let's jump into the YouTube comment. Solitary here today from Lazy Joe. There we go. Yeah, again, if you're a patron and you're interested in telling me things, you can. That is available to you, so again, shout outs. We have Lazy Joe here, who starts here talking about Shauma a little bit more. May not be a man of action like Kanba, but sure can endure a lot for Himari's sake, and he deserves a medal for tolerating Ringo's delusions so far as well. Again, I think a lot of my commentary thus far may seem like it's pigeonholing the two boys a little bit, and that I may respect one more than the other because of what they're doing, or think certain things about each other based on what they're doing. It's more just observations. It's no judgment yet. I don't know where these are going to go, but they've definitely, again, they've separated the two boys pretty, obviously, right? They're very different from one another, right? And we're going to play off that somehow. Again, I'm unsure if that's going to be for the better or the worse, or if we're going to find some in between at the end, or what we're going to say, really. Again, in contrast to Utena, well, kind of in contrast to Utena, Utena has people in it that are very obviously wrong sometimes, but it also has people that aren't as obviously wrong, but they're still wrong. You know what I mean? So I'm interested to see where we land on that and where's the nth degree of each respective philosophy here, right? Let's, again, broadly pigeonhole it. Passivity versus not being passive, right? Like, passivity versus action, I guess. What's better in such a circumstance? Again, only time will tell, I guess. Himari's Weasel Knievel is also Gedo Joto, meaning something like, yeah, I'm a bad guy, bring it on. Seems like it was a slang used by the Japanese Yankee biker gangs. So again, kind of got that Evil Knievel connection if you squint a little bit through biker, I guess. And yeah, just, you know, it's hard to find those kind of English analogs for these kind of statements. I'm happy when they get translated like this. Specifically here, it being such an outdated phrase and it coming from Himari, aka God, or whoever's inhabiting Himari. Interesting. It may indicate some things about their character, maybe a little bit of an older character, maybe an adult. We seem to be playing a lot with adolescence and growing up again, so potentially we're playing off of that. Again, maybe in an end-of-the-world type way. Maybe the enemy is going to be some kind of old fart that needs to fucking leave school because he's a creep. Anyway, that's the other show. Two more famous VAs this time as well, kind of adding on from last week. So again, kind of getting this all-star cast around these kind of people that were relatively new at the time. Again, we could be saying something with that, with adolescence as a general theme and growing up and people around me knowing way more than I do. Kind of meta-wise. Am I making any sense there? Anyway, let's look up Romy Park. Now, the one that I should have got immediately is definitely Ed from Full Metal Alchemist. Exactly sounds like them, so sure. Again, I'm wondering how much more involvement this character is going to have. This one was the other obvious one as well. Hanji? Anyway, it's been a while. Yeah, there's a few cool things here, I think. Sure, let's say that. That's a thing to say. I seem to see a lot of Persona connections as well, so maybe that's another one to look for. Anyway, I digress. Good voice actress, obviously, and I think she looks pretty over here. I like this headshot. The other one was a bit part for the Kingpin character that was kind of in that fantasy sequence with Yuri, right? Again, she was doing her thing with that guy. A few cool characters here. I'm actually watching Hellsing Ultimate at the moment, and it's been pretty fun. I'm liking it a lot. So yeah, that's that fun connection there. And yeah, Fate Zero, right? This guy? From memory, he's also in all of them apparently too. I mostly remember this guy from Zero, I think. He was cool. I don't have much else to say. Yeah, there's a few cool guys here. Definitely an older VA. And again, some of this stuff here is before my time. And again, I was just looking for it too. Another Persona connection. Maybe there's something going on there. I don't know. I don't know. I just keep looking for it, I guess. If you look for stuff, you'll find patterns anywhere. Either way, that's it for the YouTube comments here today. Let's dive into that Patreon shout out, shall we? As always, Patreon available to you if you want to be that 1 week ahead. It will get a little bit dicey around Christmas. I may miss a week somewhere. It'll either be next week or the week after, depending on what I do. Probably the week after. We'll see. Maybe we'll avoid it. We'll see. Anyway, I'll talk to you about it. Discord's the best place to hear about it. But if you did want to be that 1 week ahead in perpetuity, then Patreon's the best way to go, I guess. Many people have done this up to and including Mickey Babbers, Charles++, Akomancer, Bananarama Hamadama-sama, Bobbin, Chobo Ribby, Dapper Dwarf, Domobot, Ichu, Ed, Fancy Question Mark, Flo Nightingale, Fried Rice, Fruit, Gloriana Tenebrae, Glyke, Greybeard, Gus N, Ika, Iria, Yarko Yarvanen, Jacob R, Joran, Kelvin, Clem, Nosta, Cot Begemot, let's go with Lick H, Lou, Master Detective, Max, Mistake Chen, Mr. Maniacs, Need, Panic, Pencil Sharp 333, Ragashingo, Ron Lad BNK, Saint Lily, Sal, Sam1373, Skeleton, Fueko, Without a Net, Yuan Kai Shu, Yuki Ali, Zach, Binshi, Hans Peter, Marsh, Voodoo Chili, and Ron Tiki. Thank you all for giving me money. I enjoy it. Anyway, just kind of recapping last week in Penguindrum, I guess. Yeah, we kind of had Ringo going off the deep end a little bit. She learnt of Yuri's engagement to Tabuki, and that's kind of sent her into a spiral. Again, if this fated thing in this diary is supposed to occur, and it's not occurring, of course she's going to make some logical leaps. And those logical leaps, of course, were towards witchcraft and sexual assault. So we're going to see if she sexually assaults Tabuki. That's kind of where we're picking back up off of. We also got some extra motivation there for Ringo as well. Her big sister Momika passed away mysteriously, I guess. That there's a whole penguin conspiracy thing going on as well in the background, but that's neither here nor there. Again, that kind of tore the family apart. So much of that familial love is so very important to her. There's that connection to Curry Day there as well. Obviously, then, hey, I want to become Momika in trying to fix the family. Again, if Momika goes away, family falls apart, Momika goes back into family, logical would follow that the family would be fixed. So again, Ringo's holding on to a lot of this stuff. Momika also had that special connection with Tabuki. That's why she wants to get with him so bad. All very interesting. Connect that kind of dead sister motif to the other three main characters in the show as you wish. I think, yeah, you'll see a lot there. And again, gravitating towards Himari in that way too. Some general discussion around Schrodinger's cat as well. Interesting. We'll see. A lot to consider going forward. Again, a lot of it will come back into memory. Of course, there's the Natsume stuff as well, where she's trying to crush Kamba for reasons. And again, seems to be a little bit more involved with the penguin stuff overall. Again, pretty effectively setting the scene there for episodes 8 and 9. So yeah, going to jump into episode 8 now. Probably going to do both episodes back to back here and then return tomorrow for a little bit more discussion. So yeah, let's jump in here to episode 8. Discord, Patreon, like the video, subscribe. Let's do this thing. Episode 8 coming right up. Radio, episode 8 of Mawaru Penguindrum up there ready to go. 23 minutes and 41 seconds on this one, so sync up accordingly with your own copy here, of course. I have the version DB off the top of my head. Yes, the DB file set for Penguindrum I do have, but there will be a picture-in-picture version in the description below for your viewing pleasure. Let's give this thing a 3, 2, 1 and jump right in. Radio, 3, 2, 1, go. Horrific. Now again, I broadly thought that the twist here was going to be that Yuri's in bed, but we'll see. Oh. We'll get trolled. No, not the eggs. That's funny. Now, I'll need to go back and look at it the end of episode 7. Also loud, excuse you. Was she listening to him that night already to the point where she would have thought that he was there? Did she have any indicator that he was there? So that would indicate things that would indicate that Tabuki knows that she's there and is trolling her, which would be reveals. If not, it may just be that he's, at Yuri's place or something. I don't know. Or out at night. Again, Tabuki was involved with that whole Momoka side of it, so again, he may know more than he lets on. I think almost certainly he does, actually, but anyway, that's neither here nor there. So you had all that kind of, momentum to enter his house and, do the deed. Is that going to all be kind of squashed now, or you're going to track him down tonight, or I don't know what Ringo's going to do now. Also, it may be pretty obvious, but I was happy last week that, Momoka and Momo and Peach, and then the Peach stamp. I thought that was pretty smart. Just wanted to pat myself on the back, really. I know some things sometimes. Okay, next day. So she didn't try to track him down that night. Okay, you seem tired. He was hard at work last night. Hard at work. What the hell is a penguin? Oh, hell of a night, huh? Not quite. I think he may be on the money, though. Yeah, look at that little blush. Oh, no. Okay, I wish that was the case. What are the penguins doing? Teach him how to fuck. Oh, yeah, bird watching and penguins and stuff. Gotcha. Oh. Plumbing problem, huh? Didn't ruin the new place, huh? I see you've moved, have you? Yeah, okay. That's why you're tired. You hired new movers? Gotcha. Hey, Ringo, buddy, I know this is I know this is tough for you to believe, but it may not be possible for you to do this. She's not listening, bro. Interesting lines. What? I mean, yeah. But that's not going to help. My diary. Okay. I think it's more than that, but 5 kilos? Oh. Yeah, so what are we gonna do now? What, steal stuff off Ringo? Again, I've brought this up already. And just steal her shit. Come on. I know. No, just isn't my style in general. The penguins are fun here too. Wait, you're listening? You can't listen. Yeah. Well, looks like we'll need to hang around our little sister. She needs to go to, like, Turkey or something. If you know, you know. That hairline. Also, she punched us in the head. Ikebukuro? Oh, we're back in the aquarium. Oh, you are. Gotcha. Flashback. I know. Yep, that's Dad's one. What, they're not? Which ones? Momika's one? Oh, yeah, the name. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. You knew about the second family, didn't you? Oh. Interesting. Now I know what the eel's like. Ringo's gonna, like, shoot up a school or something. She's gonna go, like, crazy. Oh. It's actually happening, or... It's unclear. Very interesting metaphors there. Associating Tabuki and the father there as well again. Oh, different fantasy? Yeah, sure. Like a Western type thing. What is happening? Oh, hell yeah. Watakashi is great too. Okay. Where's Ringo in all this? Okay, she's like, yeah. That's great. So I'm getting good, the bad, and the ugly, but I'm not like a Western guy. Just in costuming more than anything. Okay, you still get your ass beat. Oh, the side characters there too. Look at that Digimon guy. Hell yeah. She is resilient. Okay. Yeah, but this isn't happening in real life. Project M. And yeah, Destiny M Project. She had a bit of a crowd there. That was cool. Alright, still largely delusional, but we'll see how true it all is. In the wash, I guess. Okay, Natsume. We will commence. And you're like weirdo penguin over here. It this time, instead of Kanba, which I think was the implication there before. Still like her apron a lot too. What was she putting in it? She was putting some drugs in it or something. Okay. What's the next plan? A shootout? Like a western? Because I'm that girl with the bag. Oh, it's like a housewarming and we're invited. Housewarming slash wedding celebration engagement party. I see. Okay, Project Sexual Assault is still on the cards. To that end, what's in the bag? What's in the present? You were pouring something in there. I hope not. Okay, what do you have to say, girls? What's today's slogan? I don't think it's a bomb. Noisemakers are not allowed. Like a phone. Like last week's episode. Okay. The penthouse suite? Bro thinks he's Akio. That's crazy. Yeah, this is just Utena. I'm sorry. Okay, no escape. Oh yeah, because he's poor. Yeah, true. Okay, what's in the box? I don't think it's a bomb. What is it? It's a frog? Yeah. Oh, yeah, okay, the combination of everything. Sure. Yeah, you're being naive. Naive? Naive. I wish I could speak. Considering I have a YouTube channel where I do nothing but speak. Anyway. It was a dark and stormy night. The Mont Blanc stained the table. A murder had taken place. Yeah, okay, it was drugged. I thought it may have been. This is scary. She's a criminal. Now? Now what? Our hero? Please save Tabuki from being assaulted? You're insane! She's insane! You're an insane person! You're an insane person! No! Ringo needs to be locked up. Like, bad. Oh, this is funny. Now, show me what that hair situation's doing. Yeah, I saw it. Yeah. Come on. This is bad. Look at the birds. They're appalled. Our hero, Shoma, saved the day. Don't tell him. Maternity. Well, I don't think it was. What's she doing over there? Okay. No! It was for the better morally, yeah. It's all about, yeah, that kind of ring, that wheel, too. Not really. Yeah, cooker. But I mean, fair enough. I don't know, man. It's a tough situation. Go on. What do you mean by that? Explain yourself. To maintain the facade, you say? Again, it's what connects her to you. It kind of does, based on the whole diary situation. Oh, I need that, actually. Okay. Diary's still there. I was wondering if somebody else is going to pick it up. The One Ring. Yeah. Oh, ripped? Insane revelations? Natsume? Right? Which half of the diary was it too? Back half? Save her life? My hero? Oh shit! No, not the penguin. Yeah. Oh, what an episode. Whoa. Thematically going down a lot of similar lines that we've already done, but this seems like the furthest we've gone for Ringo in that regard. Again, I play fun and call her a psycho because she is, but I'm surprised how justifiable it all is. I believe Ringo and why she wants to do this at least, which I think is half the battle character motivation wise for this kind of stuff. Even there at the very end, I think Shauma's nature, he can't really change that. Does that make any sense? He can't change his nature. So he's an inherently selfless person. And even though all logic would say, hey, let her die and take the diary, he can't do that. But again, I wouldn't say it's passivity like I've described it before. It's kind of this weird combination of Kamba and Shauma. Because it's this taking action to save another girl, much like Kamba did back in the day. But completely antithetical to what their goal is right now, which is to get the diary, right? So, interesting one. I'm interested to see what the thought process behind saving her was. I guess it was just instinctual. And then who has the other half of the diary? Which half is it? Because very importantly, if it's the second half, then we don't know what to do next, you know? Also, the episode was outrageous. It was hilarious. It was so funny. Whatever you say, preview. And yeah, let's dive straight into episode 9. That was wild, sure. Rightio, episode 9, up there ready to go. 23 minutes and 44 seconds on this one, so sync up accordingly with your own copy. Picture in picture in the description below using the DB file set. And yeah, let's give this thing a 3, 2, 1. Rightio, 3, 2, 1, go. Ikebukuro, sure. Get comfortable. Himari's here? Back at the aquarium again? Oh, she loves it. That's great. Interesting. That may be one for discussion later too. What? This reminds me of the first episode, obviously. What are the penguins doing? Shimmering penguins? Who the fuck is that? Yeah, much like the first episode. That looked like Suwabuki or something. No, I don't know who that was. Interesting. New character, maybe? Or maybe a means to an end because they're wearing the headdress and that's... Seemed like Himari's like freaking out. She's like seeing shit that isn't there and like... She's like out of her head, you know? Yeah, it's weird. Show's so cool. If you just want to see random shit happen every week, it's a pretty good one. What's the over-under on how in it Yuri is? Do you reckon she knows more than she's letting on? I think so. Again, it would explain her connection to Tabuki, I guess, which for right now she seems to be this super famous actress type lady. Like, why is she hanging out with some teacher? Again, I don't know. Okay, gift shop again. We love the gift shop. Expensive. Love a pink ribbon. Oh. Huh. But wait, I thought you could see your penguin. Maybe I was on crack. Did she just awaken to the fact that she can? Elevator? Elevator in a Ikuhara show? Scary? I don't like elevators. Okay. There's way more floors. Okay. Let's go to the very bottom. Or top. 61. I'm terrified right now. That's redundant. Okay. The facility? What? What was that? Apple. You always go to here, this library, you say? Oh my god. No, but I want to read it. Well, maybe somebody else has it. Okay. What does all this mean? Go Super Frog. I thought she was. Okay, bye. This is like horror, is the tone right now. You ever tried to do one of these sliding puzzles? I'm very bad at them. Yeah? Mm-hmm. Okay, puzzle solved. We're in the atrium. What is happening? What? What was that? Oh, there's a lot of Super Frog here. Oh, great shot. Who the fuck? Pink guy. Yeah. Fabulous librarian is here. Oh, yeah. Sanetoshi. I'm looking for Super Frog. Saves Tokyo. Super Frog gives birth on my back. I don't trust this evil, evil man. What an odd thing to say. It's like finding a penguin in a drum. She agrees with me. That's good. Well, where else would it be? There's that word again. Ooh. My mind's going, yeah. I'm so smart. You guys know who those two are? Yeah. Hmm. How about the Shadow Girls? Triple H? I love wrestling. What a name. Make sure you wear a pink ribbon. Ocarina? Hell yeah. Oh, drum! Penguin Ocarina. So, again, my broad theory, just to vocalize it right now, seems like this is a library of everything that will ever happen ever. And these books are the order of events of fate. Super Frog Saves Himari is the name of this next one. Huh. It was the wrong ribbon. Is it the wrong color? No way. Too bad. I want matching ones. Damn. Well... I literally can't, I'm sorry. I know that you're, like, literally 8. They're not selling it. Darling, sweetest. Oh. Oh! Okay. Thanks, Mom. Okay, another flashback. Some self-reflection from Himari. Now, what I want to go back and check is if she has a scar in that episode 5 flashback. Or episode 4, it was one of them. No, you did a good job, Mum. You protected me. Okay. Himari will be an idol soon, I swear. Okay. What does Dad reckon about this? Okay. Thanks for the story. What's the Penguindrum? Okay. Mm-hmm. This looks fabulous, by the way. Huge Monogatari vibes too, obviously. And... okay. What happens to the other two then? Barefoot Gone chapter? Hunter x Hunter reference? Huh. But you guys are clearly who I think you are, right? Or at least in some way. Okay. What the fuck? Let's kill the fish. It'll be awesome. Kill the fish and drink its blood. This show's unhinged. Murder it. Kill it. Okay. Bro, they're ride or die. Okay, well this is nice. I guess they all got out then. Triple H. Okay. Seems chill. Something hit my bag? Okay, last day of school, so it's a bit of a time skip. It's an eraser. Penguin eraser. Hit my... Okay. What the hell? But what happened? Yeah, double H. Which I think we already knew. Okay. I see. Maybe. But what happened to where you needed to leave school? Okay. Yeah, what is that? Also, they're singing Rock Over Japan. Perhaps you could give me the book and I could read it. Yeah? What about it? Okay, don't trust Pink Guy. Kanba! Kanba! Okay. Okay. Don't forget this apple. An apple a day, you know what they say. Keeps the pink guy away. Child broiler? What are you talking about? Yeah. Okay. So now I understand the framing device that we're going with. Yes. I understand what was going on in the episode now. And through a dream, too. Okay. Any other thoughts? So, okay, here's my interpretation. And again, I'll go back and verify. The episode is framed within Himari's dream. Her dream of the day where she died, per se, because her consciousness left to go to a different plane by which she learned some crazy lore from Pink Guy. It seems like there's a library which has everything that could ever happen in it and people's fates, whereby they can get books and they can read from them to try to get a desired fate, right? Then, upon kind of finishing that whole sequence, she kind of forgets what's going on and then is eventually let out with the proviso of this weird Penguindrum thing. The Penguindrum seems to be tied to you two, who are on screen right now. So, and again, there seems to be a promised one to Himari, who she is also searching for, who seems important for her intents and purposes. Seems like part of her remembers it, part of her doesn't. She's seeing it through dreams, something. Either way, we basically got to saw what happened to Himari to the point where, like when she died, what happened to her, I guess, and why she's back. And yeah, don't know. From there, we have the Ringo stuff and the Shauma stuff. There's a lot to look at in that episode, for sure. Have my work cut out for me. Live to 100, you say? Sure. Now that shit was fucking wild. That's a wild set of 2 episodes. This show is fucking bonkers. This shit's crazy. This shit's the craziest thing I've ever seen? Maybe. It's literally the ramblings of a madman, but I can't stop watching it. It's insane. Anyway, I'll return tomorrow for a little bit more discussion on those 2 episodes, of course. What the fuck is my general conclusion, I guess. My one phrase summary. Yeah, I'm going to enjoy doing that tomorrow. I'll see you then. And we're back next day. Penguindrum episodes 8 and 9. What a ride. What a ride. It kind of took us some time to get there, but I'm getting a few Utena feelings about this. Not in terms of theming, that was there already. In terms of quality. Like, this is seriously good television. And the week wait between episodes is kind of brutal, if I'm honest. I want to see more now. I want to figure this all out. And it's both supremely watchable, like Utena, and as deep as you want it to be. Again, like Utena. That's like the best thing that television can do. I don't have to have a fucking PhD degree to want to watch it every single time. It's not homework. And if I want to make it homework, I can. It does both. And I think that's fantastic. Just think about the contrast between these 2 episodes. The absolute ridiculousness, me going off my head at all this kind of stuff. Compare that to episode 9, which is just pure intrigue and backstory, and it's just supremely artful and looks fantastic. It's just fantastic. It's so good. I cannot stop the glaze. I'm going crazy. Anyway, where should I even begin? I guess at the start here. Let's just dive in. How do I want to set this up? I don't know. I think I'm just going to start. I want to do a good job here. I guess that's what I'm walking in and what I want to do. I want to take my time here, especially with episode 9, and talk about all the things that I think may be happening there, because I think it's pretty revelatory if you think about it in conjunction with a lot of the rest of the stuff in the show thus far. Again, that aquarium seems pretty important, and the penguins there within. So yeah, cool. Let's dive in. So immediately here, I love the framing, and I'm seeing right away how similar it is to the framing at the end of the episode. The kind of lightning outside, the dark and stormy night. Again, the horror movie-ness of it all. Again, we'll talk about it a little bit more a little bit later on, but it's like fucking Dr. Frankenstein trying to fucking revive the guy. Like, it's fucking crazy. Again, it's pure camp, it's ridiculousness, but I also think it's befitting of the emotions of the scene. It's just the perfect flourish for this kind of thing. But the thing I wanted to emphasize is this setup here at the start of the episode is very similar to the setup at the end of the episode. She's just more and more successful each time. Despite her best efforts to, again, sexually assault Tabuki, she is thwarted each and every time, and it's hilarious. Again, she's persistent if nothing else. However, as we all know by this point, Ringo's prince was in another castle. Instead, she gets some eggs. Get some eggs there. Look at the chicken laying some eggs there. Interesting shot too. Maybe get a little bit more darkness there. That's a bit better. Eggs. Eggs are very important. Eggs are a symbol of maternity, right? So again, that's what she's looking for with Project M. Supposedly, that's her interpretation at this moment. Again, we have other interpretations from different characters, I think. So I think the metaphor here is twofold. The chicken laying the eggs is a plush toy. It is fake. It is also inherently childish. It's something that she's looking at that she wants to do, but is ultimately unattainable and artificial here at this time. She wants to lay eggs with Tabuki, but she cannot, and this is a frustrating reminder of that. Again, it also links into Tabuki's thing about bird watching. He likes the aviary variety of animal, I guess. And fun little ironic twist there too. I also think it's maybe spiteful from Yuri. Like, he's not going to be here anymore. Fuck you, essentially. I'm putting this here. Maybe if not on purpose, then kind of subconsciously. You know what I mean? It's again, I'm combining this a lot with the baggage around eggs from Utena and how important they were to the whole shebang there. Again, notably, these eggs have not even begun to crack and open yet. There's also 3 eggs. That could be kind of a reference to the 3 penguin eggs from very early in the show as well. Considering Tabuki and his, I'm thinking, purported involvement with whatever the hell's going on big time conspiracy-wise, maybe that's another reference too. 3 eggs, important. Masterful cut to the wide here as well, including the rooster motif too. So the rooster and the hen, yeah, definitely I think Yuri's involved here too. If not explicitly, then metaphorically. Get ready for me to say this phrase a lot through these 2 episodes. Excellently framed scene. I love this. Again, reminding me a lot of Utena. There are a lot of shots outside, kind of characters talking through windows. I'm thinking a lot of the, specifically off the top of my head, a lot of the Utena Judy stuff. I think that's, yeah, you know the scenes. So again, the start of the episode in combination with Tabuki here being broadly a little bit sleepy, anybody with a brain can kind of put together what's going on here. He didn't spend the night in his house. He potentially spent the night in somebody else's bed, not sleeping. Doing other stuff. And yeah, the excellent framing here is twofold as well, because we have all the penguin shenanigans happening in the foreground as well. As we see here, there's a penguin flying out and so forth. We'll see, again, each of these kind of penguins and the bird representing each of the characters' motivations, I guess, during this scene. Tabuki describes himself having a hell of a night, and Kamba puts 2 and 2 together, because he's, again, that more kind of masculine-leaning character. Broadly hornier, bit of a playboy type persona. He's kissed his sister. Lots of stuff. Yeah, you were boning last night, big dog. Having an adult type night. Again, the penguin shenanigans in the foreground too as well. We see Kamba's penguin enter here too. There's, again, a big tussle here with a bird. Again, it's a metaphor for the conversation. I don't know how many times I need to say it. Interesting here as well. Give my baby brother a good lesson, teach. Yeah, always that baby brother. Even though they're twins, you're the younger one, you know. I'm always kind of big broing you, you know. We have Tabuki here admitting the truth that there was plumbing problems in his house and Yuri called me out and let me sleep at her and that kind of thing. We get the real reason here from Tabuki, which is that Yuri called her out to his place for some plumbing issues. Again, I think Kamba sees through the artifice here a little bit. Plumbing issues indeed, but specifically dropping here, I'm glad that our new place didn't get ruined with the plumbing issues at hand, I guess. I don't know if, like, plumbing issues is traditionally a big problem for, like, a penthouse apartment type apartment, but anyway, I digress. And yeah, unfortunately for Ringo here, we get the confirmation that he is moving in with Yuri. Again, they're engaged. They're moving literally today. That house that she was kind of bunked in under before is no longer the place of operations that she thinks it is. It's going to be very, very hard to live under the floor of a penthouse apartment, which I think is a pretty cool metaphor now that I think about it too. Again, so much stuff in this in the show so far, in Yuri's character, with elevation and elevating herself above the competition and the lower classes and that kind of stuff, right? Of course she's going to put him in a apartment way up in the sky, somewhere where Ringo can never hope to reach. Yeah, cool. Yeah, and quietly somber scene here from Ringo as well, as she makes the discovery that the house has been vacated, probably noticed the movers moving all the stuff out. Shit. Well, and again, it's always this like, fuck, oh shit. Oh well, I'm gonna pick myself back up and keep going. Which again, living upon this delusion, this so very powerful delusion that now we have the context behind with the whole Momoko and family situation. But again, even in such moments, I don't think the show is bereft of comedy either. Just fantastic there. The fall off to her side is fantastic. Yeah, right there. Fantastic. Again, very Penguin-like too. Love this here too. We have some simultaneous dialogue. We have an internal dialogue from Ringo telling her to, no, impossible, this can't happen, keep going, all these other things, completely like zoning out the outside voice of Shauma here right now, telling her that it's delusional and that she should give up and all these other things. She's not even listening to anybody else outside. This is so very internal to her. Should we talk about this diary as well, or should we leave that to next episode? Let's leave it to next episode, but I have some broad theories about the library that we find in episode 9 and this diary here. Shauma agrees to help Ringo move her stuff yet again back into the room. I think we pick back up on that later. But he picks a really poor time here to say, hey, can I actually borrow the diary? Yeah, no, not the right time to ask, buddy. Again, us, the audience, have the benefit here of knowing how serious Ringo is about this, and of course she's not going to respond well to somebody telling her that, hey, just be a healthier romantic person next time and don't pick these toxic relationships. No, we know how much she's put into this and how much importance it does have to her. Again, you're not just going to casually convince her to stop. That being said, is the sacrifice of Shauma by the end of episode 8 here enough to get her to reconsider some things now that it's getting people around her? People that she may front, but I think she has some affection for in Shauma. Him getting hurt, is that going to change her opinion somewhat about this whole chasing Tabuki situation? We're going to have to see. Again, there's that word again, loving this framing, focusing on that phone strap and her increased determination to go again, right? The phone strap, the connection to the family, that aquarium visit, the matching straps, which we'll go into a little bit later in this episode as well. Again, this is why I can't drop this. Back over to the Takakura household, of course, and we have Himari and her penguin lifting weights while watching Yuri on TV, talking about how she retired from the troop and so forth. Apparently, Himari was a fan. I don't know if this will come back at all, but keep it in mind, I guess. We must remember again that the whole Kamba putting Shauma up to do this, make sure that... hey, Shauma, can you make sure that Ringo and your teacher bone? Again, he doesn't think that this is even possible now and doesn't want to go through with it. So again, here's the thing, right? You make direct inroads against your cause here. Does this make any sense? Like, at the end of the episode, when you make the decisions that you make, it is directly in conflict with what Kamba is asking you to do. If you were ruthlessly pursuing the diary, you would let the deed at the end of the episode happen. You wouldn't push her out of the way or do anything, right? You would just steal the diary. The other one that I've talked about, of course, as well, is sacrificing yourself instead of letting Ringo just get hit by the car and then stealing the diary. Again, you have a moral center which cannot be overcome even by this most important thing, right? Again, I don't think a character like Kanba has such things stopping them from pursuing this kind of thing, right? He would do whatever it takes, as shown in the rest of the show thus far, to make this a reality. Shauma, are you willing to do the same things? Evidently, based on the episode and the evidence in the show, no. Again, the big difference between the brothers here. I guess I should bring it up now as well. I had some theories that the motorcyclist at the end of the episode was potentially Natsume. I don't think that's true anymore. I think it's Kanba. I think Kanba ripped the diary apart. I think he was sick of Shauma fucking around and just went and took what was his. Again, we even see it here, right? Stop going along with the stalker chick's delusions and just take it from her. Why don't you do that? Is Himari not that important to you where you're willing to do this, you know? Shauma always, kind of like turtling up, Taking it by force, not my style. Don't even look him in the eye right now. Just unsure about everything, We must look at the penguins in this scene as well, right? They're working together here to cook something. Again, like Kanba and Shauma working together to cook this plan right now. In the process of Shauma's penguin here cooking, he ends up hurting and frustrating Kanba's penguin. Again, broadly what's going on in the conversation as well. I left you with a big responsibility here in this job, and your conduct is frustrating me. It's burning me and making me want to take control instead. Again, I think that's what plays out in the episode. I think Kanba's sick of Shauma's shit and just steals the diary. And yeah, the argument there was getting kind of serious there by the very end, right? Like Shauma accusing Kanba of not helping the family and going off and hooking up with girls as opposed to me, who's actually actively trying to do something. Again, you don't know, Shauma, how much Kanba is sacrificing for you even at this moment. Because again, in a very masculine, almost Utena princey kind of way, he doesn't let you in on it. He wants to do it all himself with no help. It reminds me of dads. Dads like to do shit like that, you know? And again, probably that Kenzan connection, right? Like, dads like to go out on their own and not tell anybody about everything and just kind of do it and make sure that everybody's fine. And that, again, Utena cast a judgment on that kind of behavior. It saw it as inherently toxic, which I think it is. Again, men need help too, for sure. And again, Himari kind of splits up the fight here. We're unsure how much she even heard here as well, which is curious. And yeah, Himari gives them both a swift punch in the face for not being at home as much lately. Again, she's kind of been working out with the punching gloves and whatever, and the lifting weights earlier to kind of help with the recovery from her purported sickness, you know? I might get sick again from the loneliness. No, instead it was uppercut. Yeah, Kanba even says it here. If you fail again, I'll take the diary by force for Himari. Maybe the show wants you to think it's Kanba and it's actually Natsume. Because we've done this twice. We've had a character that we saw that... do you know what I mean? Like, we didn't quite see their identity, but they committed a crime. So, who pushed Asahi Kuho down the stairs, and who stole the diary on the bike? Again, we've done this kind of technique twice now. Very, very, very important scene here for Ringo, and is this kind of final push to give her motivation to do what she does by the very end of the episode. So she returns to the aquarium, which is so very important to her based off that image of the past. When she was a young girl, she went with her parents. She's seeing that kind of play out next to her with this other kind of family, as we can see here next to her. And again, the dialogue that is diegetic turns into a non-diegetic kind of memory sequence where she's reflecting on what happened in the past. Again, it kind of fades in there. I think it's pretty good. Specifically focusing again on the phone straps. This one was made for you because it has an apple. We're getting matching straps. Now, what I wanted to try and see, again, was your strap back in the day, that being Dad's strap, was it always the eel? Oh, specifically as well, I didn't even notice this. They like just straight up carrying the plush dolls that are associated with either of them. And again, I talked about this last week, the plush dolls being resonant to a child trying to grapple with some serious shit going on, right? It's through that kind of childish, naive perspective. Because again, what Ringo is doing is largely naive. I think if I embody the traits of Momoko by sleeping with the guy that she liked, maybe, I can become her and in turn fix the family. Again, it's pure delusion, for sure. This is the phone strap we saw in the restaurant that the dad had. We talked about the eel and its kind of like snake-like qualities, not quite telling the truth, obfuscating things, slimy, all these kind of things, right? And again, befitting of a man that has a second family and he's betrayed us and all that kind of stuff. Specifically here, maybe looking for the apple penguin, which they're not selling anymore. Again, it makes me feel like I've been thrown out and used. The things that I had in the past are no longer available to me. And then we get the kicker. We have Ringo's dad walking in with the new family, essentially, right? We have Aoi here, who is the young girl. Again, my replacement. I'm growing up. I'm no longer this innocent person. I'm grappling with my own adolescence, and I'm seeing this over here when it was all so simple and the family was together. Again, I want to reattain this, thrusting her to do what she does by the very end, right? I can attain this peace again if I sleep with Tabuki. Again, it's convoluted, but I see what they're doing. Ringo here witnessing her father have this intimate moment with another daughter, right? Like that's shattering for her. I love eels. I remember when we had this kind of conversation in the, like, literally 10 years ago. We like did the same thing. And again, portraying Ringo still, even at this age, in that very juvenile kind of mindset, right? Instead of interpreting this scene in reality, she turns to delusion, right? She looks at Dad. Dad becomes the otter, like he has been, right? And then looks at the little daughter, Aoi, right? She's got a pretty strong design. She may be sticking around, who becomes a little eel. And yeah, he's marrying into this family of eels as opposed to his Kappa wife, which he's supposed to be with, I guess. Yeah, the difference in framing here is so very fascinating. Again, adding to this kind of underwater motif that Ringo has at large. Again, whenever we see her room, it's always kind of this, it looks like it's underwater, it looks like this kind of underwater diorama. Again, this is how she copes with information, this is how she interprets things. Very poignant scene in episode 4 where she's kind of drowning and falling into the water as well. It's clearly a pretty apt association, I would say. We have Aoi, the little daughter eel here, asking if he can come along to Daddy Day at school or whatever, Parents' Day, strangling him in the process. Again, we must remember that this is Ringo's point of view. It's like she's stealing Dad away from us. Like Dad has no choice in the matter. Framing Dad as the victim, framing this new family kind of taking my dad from me as opposed to my dad choosing to leave us. It's ascribing blame to the other women instead of the guy, which is crazy. Because I want to talk a little bit later about, we specifically switch out our shoujo kind of princessy pastiche for a western, which I think is a pretty definite move away from femininity towards masculinity, right? And Ringo choosing to be so sexually aggressive in that kind of process as well. Bear with me here. I think that's a direction. I think that's kind of something we're trying to say something there. And Shauma being the one to oppose that too. Oppose being that kind of, sexually dominant, sexually deviant, right? He doesn't want to even grapple with that too. I think that's fascinating. I think Ringo's understanding of relationship dynamics and the genders and adolescence as a whole is completely warped. And again, we can kind of see how it went in that direction too. I guess I forgot to say the other connective tissue here as well, which is why I'm connecting all of this. She frames Yuri as the enemy as well. It's never Tabuki's fault. It's never Tabuki's fault for not wanting to be with her. It's always Yuri scheming in the background, doing some stuff. No, Tabuki's still making the conscious choice not to be with you. Why do you hold no animosity towards him? Like, what's the go there? And again, I think speaks to this kind of warped sense of reality that Ringo has. So again, we don't see this in reality, but I think the implication here is that the dad is proposing to new wife? Okay. And again, it's interesting that if this is happening, that Ringo can't interpret this in real life. She needs to, again, go to this kind of defensive mechanism view for it, right? She can't see her real dad proposing to a real woman. It needs to be childish fantasy. The pan back over here would imply that it is actually happening in reality, and you're kind of horror at the situation too. But what's the octopus in all of this, right? So again, we have like the eels pulling him down into the deep, pulling him away from us. Again, a victim needing saving. Who's the octopus? Have we talked about anybody as an octopus before? I don't know. Anyway, weird. All the other sea creatures are watching as well. All the other plush dolls in the kind of gift shop, you could maybe squint and say that this is other people witnessing a public kind of proposal and cheering him along as well. That specific line there at the end too, this is such a fascinating sequence. Now we can live happily ever after. Again, framing like a fairy tale, and very similar to these kind of princessy delusions that Ringo often has too. And again, happily ever after, fairy tale, invoking Utana there somewhat as well. What did we decide that fairy tales were? Just that. And again, I didn't know we went straight into this, but we're like literally, we have the vignetting here. We're straight into another one of Ringo's delusions. Again, curiously, Tabuki framed as the victim, framed as the prince even still, though the setting has changed. There are a number of rival cowboys that are Yuri, right? We've kind of strung him up and done all this kind of stuff, right? Now again, it's this clash of styles. We still have the old Tabuki, who is this prince, who is the thing that I want, right? But now we've gone into this Western style. Again, I've made that association that it's broadly more masculine, choosing to shoot Yuri, choosing to get a little bit more aggressive and that kind of stuff, play out like a shootout as opposed to Again, a princess, princey type of thing. It indicates that Ringo's about to go fucking harder. I think the looming white doves, we used it before on the kind of housewarming invitation as well. White doves normally associated with marriage. So again, that kind of concept looming in the background. Love this too. I will tie the knot with Tabuki as I've got a noose around his neck. He will effectively be dead for me if this happens. This show's so good. Oh my god. It's actually fucking amazing. Art style change too. So instead of our kind of blushy shoujo-y style, we have a more almost 90s anime inspired art style here for Ringo, right? Harsher line work, more detail, all these kind of things. Looks very, 90s OVA, I would say. Again, broken record, broadly more masculine, more serious, upping the stakes. We must, of course, talk about the direct pastiche as well, which I think is something akin to The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. I briefly googled there to see if there was I guess I would say a similar title sequence for a Western. I couldn't see anything directly, but definitely title sequences and Westerns are a huge thing. Just the one that's coming to mind at the moment, even though it's a pretty recent example, is something like Django Unchained. Definitely had a very similar sequence where we kind of played the credits on top and so forth. We have the Destiny Project M, of course, and that M being so very important. The other thing here as well is not only the genre switch, but also the protagonist switch. We've gone from a traditionally hero-ass hero in the kind of princess stuff over to a Western anti-hero, right? Somebody that does kill. Again, takes more chances there. Broadly more masculine. I love the framing of all the different friend characters here, right? We have Himari and the other two best friends. Again, they're bystanders here. They don't understand the choices that I need to make these things happen. But even despite this, even though I've talked up this being a broadly more serious fantasy, still got like cartoon cactuses in the background. You may think that this is adult, but it's still a childish view of what adulthood is. Yeah, maybe again I'm reading too much into that, but it gets me yapping for sure. In the skit itself, we have Cowboy Yuri thinking she lands the kill shot here, but Ringo getting back up and saving the day. No matter how quickly you draw, I'm still going to win because I have the fucking book, baby. As we see here, specifically the concept of destiny within the diary blocking the bullets. Again, this is my shield. This is the thing that's going to continue to propel me again and again and again. Propel my persistence. It's not going to let me stop. We must also remember that this diary is a shield. It being ripped apart by the end of the episode means that her final defense has fallen and that maybe she can start to see things a little bit more realistically. She might start to be more concerned about Shauma than Tabuki. Again, like, who actually cares about me? Tabuki doesn't even look my way twice, really. He kind of sometimes does. I guess we had that Schrodinger's cat scene back in the day. But Shauma's the one looking out for me. He, literally sacrificed himself for me by the end of the episode. Again, maybe there's a change in priorities there by the end. So, through focus on the diary and increased faith in the diary and what's said within it, I will attain everything I want. I will thwart my nemesises, which is the eel family, as well as Yuri, and I'll attain both Tabuki and my family unit back. Again, who's the octopus here? Am I missing something? I don't know. Weird. This is delusion. Again, as I'm sure you guys know by this point. I'll be the one who attains the family is a crazy line too. And again, that's the ending. Giant train rushing through here, maybe alluding to the truck that ends up hitting, was it a car? Something ends up hitting Shauma by the very end. Yeah, she has increased faith in destiny. She will not be thwarted. She is the most persistent person on the planet. Quick scene here with Natsume. I forgot this was even in the episode. We're commencing Project M. Failure is not an option. She's talking to some mysterious presence on the phone. Not the big, stupid phone that's over here, but instead her mobile phone. Weird. Why would you have two phones in that scene? Are we trying to say something that she's kind of straying away from all of her riches and elegance? I don't know what that's trying to say. That's odd. And yeah, Natsume changes her catchphrase here, instead opting for a "it must be crushed soon" or a "gosh, it must be crushed soon." Instead of a specific person, which I think it was Kanba in the past. Again, she's been largely tormenting him and fucking with his exes and stuff. What's happening? What's the go? What's all that about, I guess? And again, why do you know what Project M is? That's still all up in the air. I'm not even going to try to speculate. I'm going to leave a lot of the speculation for next episode, I think. We pan back over to Ringo and Shauma. They've just finished moving everything that was under Tabuki's old house back into her room, specifically the 2 plush dolls as well, which are still kind of holding hands, sitting together. We notice that Ringo is putting a mysterious substance into the food, which I think was my first indicator that she's going to drug the fuck out of them. Oh, very specific thing here too that I've forgotten. Ringo here tells Shauma, hey, if we do well on the next mission, if the next mission is a success, you will get the diary. I'll let you borrow it. And again, even with this knowledge in mind, he still can't help but do the heroic thing and continue to save Tabuki. There is a general ominous tone here as well. Love the focus on the door here, if I can grab it as well. So he put that away. This door closing, and then, oh yeah, just this sense of mystery to it all. We don't quite know what's happening. We learn here that Ringo is going to go to Tabuki's apartment again. She's saying that this is her last chance as Yuri is away on tour at the moment, right? She's supposed to be leaving tonight on an airplane, and this would be my last chance to attack. Again, I think Shauma had the futile hope that maybe you had given this up, but no, instead I'm still on the offensive. It must be said as well that Shauma doesn't see all the stuff the audience sees, so he's still not sure what Project M even is. I think, again, he's aware of Momoka. Maybe he thought that was a thing for a while, but of course he's not going to put kind of A and B together there. So he thinks it's Project fucking Murder. She thinks that it's going to be a double suicide. Oh my god. To the point where he thinks there's a bomb in the box. Well, maybe there could have been. I don't think she's a terrorist. She's a lot of other things, but Ringo's not a terrorist. Instead, inside the box is something far more sinister. This is also today's slogan, noisemakers not allowed, just kind of invoking this sense of a bomb being let off, I guess, right? This new apartment is really swanky as well. I think it reminds me with the whole kind of window conceit, big windows all around everywhere, and it being kind of on top of the world. I can't help but be reminded of Akio and his place from Mutena. I think we're trying to say something there, similar stuff, social class, so forth. We are also made aware of a typhoon that is impacting the area, looks pretty serious. So yeah, again, if it's pouring in Tokyo tonight, potentially that plane's going to have some delays, which we find out a little bit later on. I like how this is set up early. I do like the difference in Ringo's voice acting between who she's talking to when she's trying to like maintain this sense of elegance and almost trying to like cosplay Yuri over here. She sounds quite different from when she's just gasbagging with Shauma. Shauma kind of ruining the scene here. It's a very polite, respectful scene over here. Instead, we have Shauma over here gawking at the kind of, I don't know, richness of it all. Again, he's poor. He doesn't know this stuff. So, like, this is what I mean, like, kind of my thesis for this episode here today. This show doing both. Like, again, I've just had a pretty long conversation here. I've been talking for almost 50 minutes, about 14 minutes of content. But it's still supremely watchable. I find you being scared that it's a bomb, like that, again, kind of rom-com energy to it all, so very appealing. Like, it just keeps you engaged between all the other stuff, right? It doesn't feel like work. That's the best part, you know? Of course, what's in the box, it isn't a bomb. It is instead a cake. It's a very specific kind of cake. Let us read here. It is my special curry rice-shaped Mont Blanc. With love. Yeah, again, how do I even put this? This is everything coming together. It's fantastic. Again, curry means love. It's also got with love next to it as well, behind my camera, right there. And Mont Blanc, his favorite dessert, of course. So, of course, he's going to want to eat some. Yeah, just top tier. Fantastic. This is a good opportunity to get Shauma to eat some of the cake as well. Why don't you have a taste as well? Again, it's only got some drugs in it. And yeah, the two boys in the scene ingest some of the cake, and then the tone turns horror. Very, very quickly, the lightning going off in the background, the blood splatter of the Mont Blanc, face planted into the food like a crime, right? The penguin had some as well, and he is now passed. Egg in the background, oh my god, it's so deep. Yeah, this is just fantastic. Also, the spill was the tea, excuse me. Oh, the eye there too. There's a specific shot later on where the lightning flashes on Ringo, and she looks demented. She looks like a villain. Yeah, all this kind of stuff is fantastic. We have some witnesses to the crime here as well, but they are stationary. They cannot do anything about it as she drags the body into the bed, ready to commit sexual assault. our hero, ladies and gentlemen. And there's this fantastic, almost 60s or 70s-esque, like, Hitchcockian drama to it all. We have somebody committing a crime in the next room, and we have somebody that we're like cheering along to go and save the day. It feels like Rear Window or something like that. It's fantastic. Also here, cueing the moment where I lose my shit as well, when she kind of opens the bag here, and there's like the wig in there right here. When you figure out exactly what's going on here, and that you're literally going to personify Yuri in this kind of moment. Again, you've kind of stolen her penthouse, so to say, as well, right? You're the woman of the house, you know, superseding that person that's so very over you and all these delusions all the time. Just brilliant. Just brilliant. I want to say something about the tree in the foreground too. I reckon it's trying to say something. Maybe. Apples and trees. Growth. Maternity. Oh my god. And I love how committed she is in all of this as well. The wig notwithstanding. She's like using her perfume, and she's like painting her nails to make sure that they're just like Yuri, right? Is that the best thing? Should you not instead look to be your own person instead? I don't know. And yeah, here's that moment I was talking about. Shorma discovers her plan, and it's like, I guess I'll let you in on it. What exactly is M? M for maternity. So normal face looking here, right? And then the kind of lightning goes off and she goes all demented. How fun is that? That's, oh my god. I cannot stop glazing this episode. It's so good. Oh, this is a great point as well. Specifically this episode, we aren't, as an audience, let in on what's in the diary. We change the framing device somewhat, right? So again, normally a Ringo episode will go, we'll hear what happens in the diary, or at least get some kind of indicator, right? And then the passage will be read aloud, or we'll learn of it some other way, and then it'll get subverted somehow, right? We don't get that prior information this episode, putting us in the kind of shoes of Shorma. We don't have the information, neither does he, therefore we're both surprised at the whack shit that's going on. And yeah, it leads to this great scene. Again, like I'm over here cheering you along. Go, stop that molester, do it quickly. And again, Shorma's right, continuing to call out that this is nothing but mere delusion. But now you put some stuff out here as well. I have to do this or our family will. Again, we know the motivations here, but she's being a lot more forthright with them. I'm also interested how she's talking when she's over here doing things as well. She may be using her hands. She can use her hands. That's okay. I thought that maybe she would have a mouthful. Also, I love her yelling at Destiny randomly as well. I just think that's great. We'll maybe rival Fabulous Max one day as a catchphrase. Either way, Shorma saves the day, pushes her off to Buki. We kind of get the blackout ending there at that moment as well, so the lights turn back on inexplicably. Where again, it's almost this moment of realization for Ringo as well. The wig is off, I'm mounting my teacher in broad daylight, and I see how ridiculous this is. The light has been shone upon my plan. Specifically, I'm getting instead of these intimate shots before, I'm getting a full room shot. She's actually kind of realizing the ridiculousness of what she's doing right now. She kind of wakes up to herself for but a moment. And then the worst thing possible happens as well, as was set up before with the typhoon. Yuri was out of town for whatever it was. She was going on tour for some reason. But she can't leave. The planes aren't going anywhere because of the typhoon. So of course she's just going to come back home and expect to see Tabuki here waiting for her. Instead, no, he's knocked out, he's been drugged, we need to get out of here now. We are committing crimes and she will hurt us. Hang on, do you guys have the same door? I love this door, I'm obsessed. Is it like a peach door? Is that what we're getting at? And there's a moon? Sailor Moon? Oh my god. And yeah, really emotional, kind of heartfelt conversation here at the very end of the episode, where Shorma says, hey, you didn't really want to do that, did you? What do you know about me? Rebuts Ringo here as well. I must bear a child in my sister's place. You don't care about Tabuki and Yuri's feelings at all then. No, Tabuki being with her in the first place was the mistake. Your heart is pitch black, darker than any girl I've ever known. And yeah, upon saying that, Ringo rebuts as well. You act all innocent, but can you say you honestly care about your sister? I can tell just by looking at Hamari. Aren't you just trying to maintain the facade of a happy family to make yourself feel better? Are you actually thinking about what she wants in all of this? Now that's a cutting line and probably needs to be compartmentalized for later, right? We need to talk about that later on, but let's tuck that off to the side. That's kind of maybe a future problem. But there is something to this. Instead of celebrating with Himari more that she's back and that she's alive again and all this other stuff, you have been chasing after me and chasing after this diary. Are you missing the forest for the trees in that regard, right? What are you even doing this for? Because again, that's why I want to talk about this later, because this is like the first thing that has resulted in Shauma wanting to put his hands on anybody. That's not something that he generally does, but it goads a response out of him. It must cut pretty deeply, right? Maybe she is secretly correct. Maybe I don't care about Himari as much as other people, you know? But when does that care become a detriment too? That's that conversation, that's that sliding scale between him and Kanba. Shauma catches himself here and pulls away, and then Ringo goes, whatever, you don't understand. I need to, put my family like a ring back together, put the wheel back together, right? It's broken at the moment, and it'll only break further if I'm inactive, if I don't do anything. And again, that's that thing that they're both united on. I'm doing this for family, you're doing this for family. We're both the same in that regard. And yeah, this admittance from Ringo as well. I love Tabuki, right? I like him, of course I love him, but it's a means to an end. I do that because Momika did. It's not coming... I still think on some level it is some kind of genuine feeling. Again, you're a teenager. I think there's some level of you find this attractive. But, mostly it's a means to an end. It's to get the family back together in my own kind of warped, twisted logic. Shauma wants to learn more, grabs at her arm, and then the diary is flung out of the bag down to the kind of bottom of the staircase here. We're then able to drop the conversation there for a moment, and instead we're going to focus on getting the diary back. There is a moment of hesitation there as well, where she goes to grab the diary, and then she hears the words, "Your heart is pitch black," from Shauma from that conversation there before. She does now show some hesitance around the diary. Again, somebody is externally judging her for this, and she's internalizing some of that. I think that's interesting going forward, right? Is this the start of her decreased reliance on the diary? Noticeably here as well, she isn't clutching that diary so closely, she isn't keeping it as guarded, and yeah, in but a moment, we have a character here who does actually seem to have breasts, now that I'm looking at this kind of silhouette, so maybe it is a Natsume instead. Either way, they grabbed the diary, and I wanted to check which half it was. So if we go back here, and yeah, we can see here pretty clearly that this would be the front of the book, this would be the back of the book, so whoever grabbed this wants the second half more than anything else. Or has grabbed the second half, maybe they wanted all of it, but got the second half. So the diary is now in two, but the future, that representation of what happens in the future as opposed to the past, is what has been stolen. Again, I would say broadly the important part of the diary. Now we're frame by framing this as well, because they want to get the best shot of this bike person. I think they have tits, chat. I'm going to be honest. I think that's Natsume. Interesting. Because again, I had some broad theories that it was Kanba. That Kanba would be the one to steal the diary here. But doesn't seem like that's the case. Kanba, I think, is set up as in the episode as the one that could potentially do this, which would have been a representation of Kanba putting Himari metaphorically over his brother as well, in kind of that scale of importance. But no, I think Natsume is activating Project M and is stolen this for reasons which will become clear. Now Ringo is beside herself. Again, the diary is so very important. The destiny of it all, the Momika, the fixing of her family. It's been irreversibly torn apart, much like her family's being torn apart in the episode from the new marriage and that kind of stuff too. She cannot even bear it. She is walking out vacantly into the road. Shauma notices this, that she's about to get run over, and is one for action, running and making that choice to save her. So again, from his perspective right now, it would make perfect sense for him not to save her, for him to let her die and steal the diary. That's not his style. He's always going to jump in and do the morally correct thing instead, in that way embodying some of the traits of a hero. It's almost like these two different looks through these two male characters of the concept of masculinity, right? Because this is the first time I've seen a little bit of Prince in you, right? Somebody that is willing to put themselves on the line and sacrifice themselves for another. But again, to the detriment of everything involved, we'll see. Kanba's almost that other side. He's that Archeo to your Prince, right? The prince had a name too, I should remember it. Dios, of course. Again, Utena spoilers. Also, if you haven't seen Utena, pause this video right now. Go watch all 39 episodes and then come back. That's an order. Go do that. yeah, that's kind of like the split that I'm seeing. Again, Ikuhara likes to do the same things a lot. We end the episode here, Ringo realizing what she's done and that Shauma's really, really hurt because of her. Again, maybe this will break her out of some of her stupor. That was meant to be the short episode, but I talked about that for way too long, so let's move on to the next one now. Now, unbeknownst to us at the time, this episode is framed as a flashback. I think we're repeating shots from episode 1 here, which would be an indicator for a shrewd viewer that this actually is, again, the first episode. I do like this quality here, too, when she kind of goes, "Sugoi," and her mouth goes crazy. That's just good gear. That's good stuff. I thought it felt familiar in the moment, seeing Kanba needing to leave here because he gets a text and leave them alone for some time. But I think the thing about this episode most of all is just the shift in perspective. The first episode we're firmly in the perspective of the brothers. That's why it opens and closes with their monologues, right? Now we're seeing Himari's view. What did Himari see that day? That's what we are allowed to kind of clue into, right? So again, if we go back here but a moment, right? Like, again, this same old dialogue's playing out, right? But then we get the kind of audio breaking through here of Himari making the realization that there's a weird-looking penguin over there. Again, it's fun to, you know, kind of relive this scene and see that there was a different emotional interpretation from a different character. This is one of those episodes where I want to look up a director, so I will. I think that this episode is so fucking good. The direction here, just kind of like, it's like she's becoming woke. That being Himari. She's like waking up to the world around her and starting to notice things that aren't there. It's like reality is kind of like unraveling in front of her almost at these points, right? And she feels crazy because nobody else is noticing it too. Now, specifically here, I'm in the staff. Let's go for an episode director for 9. Nobuyuki Takeuchi. Okay, so that's a unique director, as well as episode 8, which is Riki Fukushima. We may as well do 8 first. Okay, what do we have here for Fukushima? Beyblade? Sure. Yeah, from a chief directing point of view, nothing that indicative, I wouldn't say. What is Major? Is that a baseball thing? Yes. Yeah, because we've got a lot of baseball here. We've got Major, and we've got the girls' baseball show. I actually watched that for the record. Pretty not good, but we'll leave that there and talk about something else. Major again, but the aforementioned Beyblade. In another world with my smartphone. Anyway, get me out of here. Duel Masters. Yeah, this is some bullshit. This isn't telling me anything. Again, I thought that episode 8 was funny and did a lot of good stuff there, but I think mostly it was writing decisions more than direction choices. Now we're over with Takeuchi, who seems to work a lot for Shaft, which I thought was, again, pretty obvious from the episode. It seems a lot like Shaft. It seems like a Shaft type thing. A lot of Monogatari in here that I'm looking at. A little bit of Madoka too. Specifically working as an animation director on Utena as well. So got that, even that Sarazanmai kind of connection there. Chief director, along with Ikuhara. Any other head director roles that I can see? Not really, but I could be blind. But again, if we're looking for stuff that feels similar that was around the same time, I'm looking immediately at like a Nisei Monogatari, which is here. Production design, sure. Or like, even before that, done a lot of work on Bakemonogatari as well. I guess what I'm meaning to say is that this guy's really good, and I'm surprised that he hasn't done more, I guess. Oh, he directed that fireworks movie from Shaft. There we go, there's a head director thing. I never saw it, but I heard it wasn't great, so maybe. I like the song from it. You guys know this song. Anyway, I'm rambling. I need to get back to this episode. Yeah, kind of this shine to everything, this shimmer that was never there before, and kind of questioning whatever the hell's going on. This is very specific too. We see this character over here that looks like they have a character design. They look very important. They look very Ikuhara, and they're wearing that very important kind of emperor penguin headdress thing. Like, again, look at this character down here. That is somebody that's important. Has to be. Specifically here, the pink eyes on the rock hopper penguin headdress as well. Is this anything too? Which bin the penguins are in? Recyclable, flammable, and non-flammable? What could that even possibly mean? I guess it's showing a different angle of something that we once perceived as like kind of secretive. Like, this is way more matter of fact. Again, this is reflecting how Himari is seeing the world now. She's seeing it in a different way than the boys would have. There's less mystery there. I'm just kind of uncovering it all in front of me. Maybe again, this kind of view is a view into how somebody like a Momoko saw the world all the time. Maybe. A few very important things very quickly here. Again, we get the reframing of Shauma buying this gift for Himari and Himari separating, right? So again, Shauma was just kind of distracted by something else in the first episode. Now we see Himari is distracted by one of the penguins. It's pulling her to a different location to show her something. Again, there's a tangible sense of mystery to the rest of the episode here of kind of discovering what she's discovering in the moment. But again, the penguin's pulling her towards that. So again, keep that in mind. There's also the mention of a pink ribbon here, which will become important to your backstory. The absence of that pink ribbon and the choices they're made kind of irreversibly changing your life. Like, if we're going to talk about the kind of living conditions of you guys and the poverty and that kind of thing, surely you see the conditions by which you live and see that as a missed opportunity by not making it with these other two girls that made it as double H, right? Does that make sense? Like surely you feel some semblance of responsibility for the choices made. Like, mentioning the pink ribbon here is maybe the reason why your mind wanders to the places it wanders, right? Maybe instead of this happening literally, it's a little bit more metaphorical. Am I making any sense? Maybe. I'd be remiss to not mention Alice in Wonderland as well, as we have a character, running off after a fictional kind of thing down a proverbial rabbit hole to a world of mystery that doesn't make much logical sense. I think that's definitely a kind of area of inspiration, I would say, as well as this elevator that we're currently in. We must remember who's responsible for this shit. It's Ikuhara. Elevators are so very, very, very important to Utena. So again, going down an elevator, seeing what lies underneath, going internal to one's psyche, yeah. We're building upon a lot of that Utena stuff too here. This really is fantastic. This is like the hidden Studio Shaft gem that I never knew existed. This is just brilliant. We could also talk about the interior of this elevator as a strawberry. What is that trying to say? What are strawberries metaphorically? Delicate and easily bruised. Don't know about that. Fleeting pleasures. Hieronymus Bosch used strawberries to symbolize dangerous and fleeting pleasures? Maybe. Symbolizes virginity? I mean, hopefully. Not if Kamba has his say, I guess. Hope, goodness, and sacrifice. That could maybe be apt. Gifts and affection, not really. Forgiveness and renewal? Renewal's true. And romance, maybe a little bit with Pink Guy. But we'll talk about Pink Guy. I think he's kind of weird. Yeah, interesting. I'm unsure if I see anything there. Up until this point, the penguins haven't really taken control either. This penguin is definitely, like, kidnapping Himari right now. I've trapped you in this elevator. I'm taking you all the way down to the 61st floor. And again, just so we're noting it, the presence of that penguin symbol again. I had some theories last week about the color inversion. I'm unsure about that theory anymore, but yeah, very similar to the penguin on the Takakura father's back. And again, this kind of general ominous tone as we continue delving deeper and deeper down into the psyche. More evidence to this as well is the presence of a library. If we're talking about a psyche in somebody's brain, the library is a pretty apt metaphor, I would say, right? And again, looking for this one book I wanted to read, almost talking to the nature of a repressed memory, something that you didn't want to remember, hiding in the recesses of your brain, only able to be accessed by special help. Looking back at this, it's very, very obviously Studio Shaft. Why didn't I see this? Look at these fucking birds. That's the most Shaft shit I've seen in my life. It just is. Oh, this is what I wanted to see as well. We have 7 social sins here that is kind of written here. Is that anything? So this is stuff from Frederick Lewis Donaldson, but also reiterated or maybe expanded upon by Mahatma Gandhi. No, okay, it's definitely by Gandhi. Donaldson just kind of published it. Sure. Yeah, this seems way deeper than me. I'm like reading a lot of this shit. I'm gonna have to like research Gandhi if I'm gonna want to get anything out of this, I guess. Isn't he like generally about peace and stuff? Got assassinated apparently. I don't know like nothing about Gandhi, I'm gonna be honest. Let me read these and give you my interpretation, I guess. Wealth without work. Okay. Income inequality? CEOs? I don't know. Yeah, get me out of here. Pleasure without conscience. Yeah, I guess. I guess the good without the other part, I guess, right? The hard part. Sowing without reaping, so to say. Knowledge without character, sure. Commerce without morality, current year society. Science without humanity. Okay, science that doesn't understand the kind of moral ethics of the situation. That's an interesting thing to bring up, especially in contrast with the kind of morality and ethics of Shawma in the previous episode. Worship without sacrifice. That's a weird one. Politics without principle. If anybody wants to tell me what the fuck to think about that, I think that would be swell if you just told me. Again, maybe it'll come to be a little bit more important as we continue. We see here there is a boy statue hiding a golden apple behind his back away from a girl that wants said apple. So now if we're talking about some of the themes of the show, we've obviously got a femininity, masculinity type thing. I'm hiding the world from you. I'm hiding family from you. I'm hiding this side of it from you. Somebody seeks the apple, but they're not able to attain it. The golden apple specifically being a mythological reference as well, often showing up in Greek stuff from memory. Huh. Okay. Yeah, again, having an apple and having a character called Ringo is interesting. So, like, hiding that from you who wants it. Golden chair over here, too. Don't know what that's about. This just straight up feels like Monogatari. Like, literally just watch this sequence. Like, kind of in the library here, that wide shot, cut to there, cut to the books there. Trademark Monogatari. I've watched enough Monogatari on this channel to tell you that that's just Monogatari. This is the library where Ringo always goes. So again, I'm seeing this as a metaphor for her own mind. She's kind of diving into it as she's like dying, so to say. And these are the books that she's returning while she wants to access another different book. So I'm thinking the books here broadly are memories, right? I'm trying to recall something she doesn't know it right now, but she's dying. She's trying to recall something very important to her as she's passing away and is unable to access it. Okay, now I went down the rabbit hole looking at all these books. I don't know what this is. Sputnik is like a Russian satellite from the early space race. It's one of the first things that we put into orbit. So, sure. Don't know how that relates to what Himari would be looking at. Learn to earn 10 times more. They're poor. They would like to earn more money. Sure, makes sense. Again, maybe lamenting the fact that you are poor because of the decisions of the past, potentially. Christine by Stephen Queen. Now, I'm frustrated I didn't put this one together immediately, probably because of the Stephen Queen part. That's Stephen King. A very, very famous novel by Stephen King called Christine, about a car that essentially, like, it's like possessed by somebody, a murderer or something like that. I've never read the book or seen the movie for that matter, but why are we concerned about that? Reanimation? Reincarnation is a different thing? Is that a thing that we're looking at? I guess it's something to consider upon your own death, that you may be reincarnated into something else. Broadly, that's a bad thing in the novel. I think the car fucking murders people, so... Also, probably not an age-appropriate book for you to be reading. Just a really odd pull. Tell me, again, if anybody knows the connection between Christine, the story there, and Mawaru Penguindrum, please let me know. Himari instead wants to find the book Super Frog Saves Tokyo, but that book no longer exists. It's never been on record, at least in this public-facing area of the library. Also, this is a crazy-looking design for a return section. Like, this looks hypnotic. It's like... something about it just doesn't fit quite right. It's like I'm in this kind of daze or something. It's this weird kind of out-of-place element of the scene. Specifically here as well, these kind of return date and today and that kind of stuff reminds me of the kind of subway board whenever we do flashbacks. So maybe that's something in with that too. The schedule seems very important. Yeah, this episode has the fucking sauce for sure. It has the sauce. Himari mentions here that she should be able to find the book if she retraces her memory. So she goes out on her own without anybody else's help in search of the specific book. Will you help me search for it, little penguin? Again, I've theorized that the penguins are largely a manifestation of like some internal emotion of the person they're associated with, so it's interesting that you're asking this aspect of your personality to help you find something like this. Now again, big Alice in Wonderland vibes as we follow this kind of creature around, unable to get like kind of heads or tails of it as it keeps disappearing around corners, and we almost lose track of ourselves in the kind of maze. We have a sliding tile puzzle door here. When activated, it will open up to an exclusive part of the library, one that we've never seen before. The puzzle is in the process of kind of opening itself, and it seems to have penguin symbols on it. Again, you seem to almost lose yourself in the process of this kind of puzzle being solved, thinking there to be birds around, specifically doves flying overhead. As you look away for but a moment, the puzzle is solved and we're able to enter. Everything is in its right place in that kind of correct order, and the penguin welcomes us in. We open to this Monogatari-ass fucking atrium of just kind of repeated stuff everywhere. Now, this also reminds me, and this is a pull, of Girls' Last Tour. At the manga specifically, there's a part at the very end where they go to this kind of endless library. And again, I thought it was quite poignant there as well. This is just kind of a manifestation of all the knowledge ever. Now again, my thing is this all the knowledge ever for everyone? Or is this all the knowledge ever for Himari? So is this almost the story of every single thing that could have happened ever for Himari, but we're pulling upon the ones that she actually went through with? In that way, this is almost a visual representation of like quantum stuff. Like you know, those kind of choice, like parallel universe type shit. I think this kind of concept would be interesting to include in a show that's already referenced Schrodinger's cat, right? Again, kind of that state of both being alive and dead at that same time, that kind of decision point, both answers there being simultaneously true and false, and kind of extrapolating that to every single decision that you've made in your life, you know? I don't know what this is. It isn't translated for me for some reason, so thank you, but this seems to almost like a guide of what direction to go, I guess. No, there is one translated, the direction we go, which is to the car line. That's almost like train stuff, right? I'm hopping on a specific line? That's strange. Again, trains as kind of a metaphor when we're talking about this kind of stuff is interesting too, because they're always diverting in different directions. What if a certain train went in a certain other way, right? I'd go to a completely different location. I'd live a completely different life, you know? Again, continuously, just the monogatari-ness of it all. Holy shit, look at this shot here. Fucking hell, that's a shaft head tilt if I've ever seen one. Then we meet the guy, we meet Mr. Pink. Hello, Mr. Pink. I think his name's actually Sanetoshi or something, so we better commit that to memory. The penguin, obviously leading us to this person as well, seems like they're like I guess you would call them the bookkeeper of this place. Like, they're going to, he's the librarian, he's going to show you through this different kind of recesses of your mind. Now again, the framing device here we must remember is that Himari is dying. Is that the only time she has access to this kind of place? Welcome to the Central Library's Hole in the Sky Annex. Specifically here again looking for the book Super Frog Saves Tokyo. So again, from the rest of the episode we can deduce that Super Frog is you, I think. So you're looking for a book whereby you save Tokyo, right? And by saving Tokyo, you also mean saving your brothers and that kind of stuff. Saving them from whatever else goes on. Are you looking for a timeline right now whereby you are able to join the idol group, thereby saving your brothers, which saves Tokyo, which saves the day, right? Because if I made it here, then would we live the good life and we wouldn't be in poverty and I wouldn't be dying and my parents would still be alive, and all this other stuff, right? I'm looking for that best ending while I'm here. Something like that. And again, potentially in the process of needing to do this, in needing to save Tokyo, you need to find the Penguindrum. Yeah. Yo! Rock and roll over Tokyo or whatever the hell. That's why that song plays. Because it's that connection to the other two. Yo, I think I've got it. I think I've figured out the show. I'm sure there's nothing else that's going to throw me off. No, I think that's kind of what we're doing. So instead of you being possessed, per se, I think this is an internal part of you that's coming out that wants to find the Penguindrum in the process of wanting to join that idol group and save your brothers. Which again, you're trying to self-sacrifice for your family too, so to say. Maybe I'm just talking absolute hog's trollop, but I think that's where we're going. Just while I'm thinking about it now as well, I'll add this part in. I'm kind of dancing around it, but I do definitely remember a lot of commenters mentioning the kind of Tokyo sarin attacks or incident or whatever the hell, and something about a doomsday cult as well. So potentially when we're talking about Saves Tokyo, potentially we're inferring to something like that as well. Again, in the moment, I kind of lamented people talking about that kind of stuff because it put it in my mind. I was like, how does that make any sense? And then, lo and behold, now I think I know why it's making sense. Again, maybe we withhold information like that a little bit further down the line in the future. But yeah, just mentioning that I think that's what you guys were referring to when you guys mentioned that, I guess. So again, I'm seeing this is all internal to Himari, this a dive into her own brain, but maybe I'm wrong here. Again, you were our first guest in a long time, would infer that there has been other guests in the past. Maybe again, this is a thing that exists for everybody, but only again, certain people can access it. Again, this kind of line here is inviting me to speculate that potentially another sister that died in the show may have accessed this place and gained a book for somebody. I'm thinking Momika, and that's why the diary exists, because it's a book from this place. I think that's what's happening. And again, it's so very interesting in the show that's so much about fate and controlling fate and that kind of thing when you have this place that's just books of everything that's ever happened. Like, that's a fascinating concept. It just is. Instead of pulling out the book of Super Frog Saves Tokyo, we have Super Frog Saves H Trio, which is kind of like Tokyo, but not. See, this is a story about you, which you wanted to find. Again, inferring that Super Frog Saves Tokyo is something that you would like to find. The spotlight is firmly placed on these two characters as well. We have one kind of befitting the narrator and one being the subject of the story. You are the star of your own show. You are the one upon the stage. All very Monogatari. 3 years ago, she had two friends, precious companions that shared the same dream. The three girls made each other shine like stars bound by gravity. Again, there's this kind of galactic like physicsy importance to all these interactions too. Again, invoking time travel and these kind of quantum mechanical theories and stuff. Get ready for a number of flashbacks in a row because that's basically the rest of the episode. We have Himari, Friendship After School 3 started it all, preparing for the audition. So essentially there's an idol audition thing where we need to send a tape. Now, a shrewd viewer would look at these two characters and immediately know who they are. They've been plastered over all the rest of the show. These are the two members of Double H. Specifically here, I love the involvement of the ED in this, right? These characters have been, again, involved in the ED when we should recognize them immediately, right? That ED, again, as fantastic as it was already, has now taken on a whole other side of meaning, which is great. We'll notice the musical instruments here as well. You possess a couple of, what do you call them, like shakers, maracas, that kind of thing. You have an ocarina, which is strange. Shoutouts to Zelda. And I think you possess the Penguindrum, which is so very important. It is a drum that is mostly white, but with some black dots, much like a penguin. I think that's what we're getting at. Now, very oddly, the form here also has a penguin on it. So we must consider some things. Potentially the success of Double H is something that could have been planned ahead. Like, I know my destiny, I know that these people will be successful. I'm going to pick the best timeline there. Because again, there's larger penguin conspiracy stuff. We learned here they're from Narita South Suganami Ward, Tokyo as well, which may be relevant to Tokyo people, I don't know. And yeah, specifically with the Guardian's consent of Kenzan Takakura, who I think has the penguin on the back. Seems pretty important. So again, maybe there's penguin conspiracies involved too. Now these girls have been trying for a while to do this as well. They failed last year because they picked a stupid name. They picked like a comedy name instead of a cool name like Triple H. Triple H is the coolest name that there is. Yeah, the instruments here all having penguins on them as well, because we've got the kind of maracas here that have the penguin too. So you would imagine that the drum has penguins on it. Right? What we specifically notice here, or that Himari notices, is that the three girls share the kind of the letter of their first name. They've all got different names. I think there's like Hibari or something as well. They've all got H in their names, hence Triple H. Hibari, Hikari, and Himari, of course. Now, the girls are all very jazzed about this, but they need one final component, which is the video component of the audition. Don't forget the matching ribbons. They're very important. It needs to be a pink ribbon. The increased focus here on the instruments as well. We saw the kind of maracas before, the ocarina over here, and the drum, which I think is very important. So again, this guy continues to find books, but they're not the books that we seek. Like, again, that just frustrated Himari. Again, this was a memory that she buried. Something like that did happen, but I didn't want to really think about it. This is so fucking shaft. I'm sorry. It just is. It's This is the most Shaft thing that Shaft's never made. It's crazy. Next up, we have Super Frog saves Takakura Himari, which again talks to the mother saving her. So Super Frog's interesting there. I thought Super Frog was Himari. And yeah, from that, we kind of frame these flashbacks, right? We read what happened in the book, but only the first part of that book. You know what I mean? Like, we're recounting memories, essentially. It was the wrong ribbon. I couldn't forgive her for that, but who would have thought? And yeah, we're back in the Takakura household. Looks much the same as normal. Still got that globe around. Less bullshit, I would say. A bit cleaner. Maybe because they actually have parents at the moment. We have the 3 girls over here too. And some fun kind of the kids, like footprints and hands and that kind of stuff. Feels very homely. It's nice. Even the turtles here on the little kind of light string. And now Himari is like pretty young here. I think she's in elementary school. She's not going to be the most rational about this. And again, she kind of gets that kind of... what's the word? Judgment for that in the narrative. Like, she's being kind of brat-like, and it causes self-reflection for her later on. Again, it's not the exact right ribbon. If it's not the exact right ribbon, then we won't make it, because we won't match, and it won't be good, and blah, 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 blah. Again, this whole concept is meaningless if we don't match. Again, you could read into it as a bit of a metaphor too for kind of lower social class, not having access to certain things, all that kind of thing, right? Like, again, I need to match up to my peers. So I think what happens here is that she slips. So she gets up and kind of grabs Mum, keep your promise that you'll get me the right kind of thing, kind of grabs her, but then kind of falls back and hits her leg on the mirror, right? Then the mirror is going to go and fall on her. VLC, please behave. VLC has now broken. Very cool. Yeah, here we go. And then again, mirror is going to fall on her. You could, I don't know, this mirror being like kind of a refraction point, a decision point almost as well. The mirror shattering, my own reflection shattering, my own mother being hurt in that process. Like, there's something deeper here that maybe I'm not grasping yet, but there's something to it being a mirror, I think. Now, again, we're back in a hospital room with Dad again. It reminds me of when Himari got kind of sick that one time in one of the flashbacks, you know, which I think happened well before this point. Again, he's still wearing that penguin drip. Mum seems okay, but she's going to have a pretty bad facial scar, which I think is what hurts Himari the most. Again, my childish selfishness literally scarred my mum for life. That's kind of sucky. Himari, let me see your face so that you're not hurt. Something about a mum putting her face and that kind of stuff before her daughter's. It would be bad if she scarred as opposed to me. Something like that. Yeah, if something happened to your face, I never would have forgiven myself. Specifically your face. And again, so much of this being embroiled in the kind of idol side of it as well. If you lost your good looks and that kind of stuff, then you would never have that chance. So again, it's kind of my own fault and my own selfishness and brattishness that led to Mum getting scarred, my own face getting saved in the process, and then for reasons, me being unable to make it into Triple H, it became Double H, and they went off and did their own thing. Of course, that is a traumatic experience that you would want to keep kind of buried down. Despite Mum's sacrifices for my face, I was never able to get my face out there and look cute as an idol and all that kind of stuff. Again, the extra ties here that I didn't realize in the moment towards Mum being the main push behind the idol stuff. Yeah, for sure. So her not making it, and again, disregarding her sacrifice. Yeah, that's why she feels so bad about it. And again, bereft of parents eventually for a reason as well. Yeah, really touching moment here. But again, I get the feeling, a memory that Himari did not want to recollect. Because you know the ending of the story. What happened in reality. The logical end there didn't come to fruition. I didn't fulfill my end of the bargain. Oh, specifically, yeah, this kind of like almost Rorschach test motif here. But it's like penguins. It's more just like a mirror. Like a mirror. You see what I'm doing, right? Kind of that reflection back and forth. That decision point. Yeah, what could have been. Did he just say Moto Fukaku? I think he did. And if you know, you know. I think he said something to that effect, that, right, let's look deeper in. Now again, in Utena, that's when we were delving deeper and deeper into somebody's psyche as we went down and down the elevator. So again, I think that's what's happening here. Now we're reading a different book and we get a different pattern. This one is notably a symmetrical shape built up of 2 different sets of tiles. maybe instead of 3, only 2 sets of tiles, you know? Himari in this moment is one to go and admit her fault to the other 2, right? She says that, hey, I did this, mum got hurt, I couldn't get the ribbon, all that kind of stuff. Even though those 2 might hate me for this, I'm going to go and see them anyway, right? So we have Friendship by the Pond, The Forbidden Play, Barefoot Gone chapter, What Will Happen? So specifically, I don't have this promised ribbon. We can't do the performance today. Sorry about that. But instead, these other 2 are like fantastic about it. They're not bummed out. They're more like, how can we help make your mother better? She's in hospital, all that kind of stuff, right? Who cares about the video? Our best friend's mum is hurt. We're worried about her too. Specifically here, we turn to the book Barefoot Gone. And there's a specific chapter here about killing a fish. A cartoon story of Hiroshima by Ikeji Nawazaki. Or Nawazaka, excuse me. Sick mum drank from fresh koi blood to get better. And again, they figure that there's a koi in the courtyard and let's go almost comedically like murder it and drink its blood. The music here is notably happy-go-lucky as well, to the point of like it's meant to, it's sarcastic. It's meant to infer the opposite reaction. These girls, upon this happening to them, are turning down a violent and dark path and are interpreting things the wrong way. To the point where they're going to be punished, or at least one of them is. Yeah, interesting. I don't know what to make of it, really. It's simultaneously fucked up, but also kids just not understanding shit. There's a few things I want to look up. Let's start with Barefoot Gone. Okay, shit, that made me go down a rabbit hole. Barefoot Gen, I believe, is what we're translating it elsewhere, at least on Wikipedia. It seems to be a book about a pacifist family in the wake of Hiroshima and the bombings there. And kind of, it's pretty fucked up. It's a pretty fucked up story from what I was reading. Specifically here, I wanted to bring up a couple of points. As kind of an apt comparison, I would say. We're talking about the characters here, right? We've got the protagonist again, right, who is a second grader. We have Dad, who dies, but says, to be like wheat, no matter how much he is trampled on, he must rise up again. We have Mum that eventually dies as well, and a sick younger sister, I believe. Or a sick girl who reminds him of his sisters that died on the day of the bombing. In combination there, we also have an eldest brother who joins the Navy against the wishes of his pacifist father, but survives the war, and another older brother who evacuated the city with his classmates prior to the bombing, thus surviving, ultimately leaves for Osaka to become a peace merchant. So one that fights and one that runs away, 2 brothers that do alternate things there, and parents that eventually pass away. You kind of see what I'm doing there, I think. You should. And again, in the wake of a tragedy, in the wake of this atomic bombing, what are we going to do to help make it? Specifically, I believe Gen also writes essays about the events, which kind of, you know, he gets into trouble about, and so forth. So interesting, like commenting on that and that kind of stuff. I didn't find the part about the koi and the blood. I don't know what that's about. Maybe, again, you should read the whole manga if you wanted to find out more about it. But I can say reading this here, in many Asian cultures, koi are revered as a symbol of strength, endurance, and prosperity. Therefore, drinking the blood there would inform some of that stuff. Also, shout-outs to Metaphor Reef and Tazio as well. But anyway, yeah, koi is also the double for love, with the word there, koi meaning having that double meaning there. Determination and overcoming obstacles, like, you know, surviving a nuclear bombing. So yeah, my point being that it's multi-layered, but killing the koi, killing that symbol of resilience in kind of trying to gain its resilience is kind of a really interesting concept. I'm unsure how to grapple with that, but there's a lot at play there. Trying to give Mum back the love, but ultimately committing a violent act in doing so, you know? Trying to help her persevere and gain strength. Again, end its life in one shot, carrying the baseball bat there, the happy-go-lucky music. It's all meaning to say something, I think. This isn't something that's good. But again, Himari is perfectly happy doing it in the you know, pursuit of saving Mom, right? Almost some Kamba vibes there, right? And yeah, they get kind of caught by the teachers. We're going to call your parents. Himari doesn't want that to happen, and the other 2 girls step up and try to help her, try to save the day here. I wanted my parents to live to 100, therefore I wanted to drink the blood. And again, they're all they're all trying to take collective blame here. So this is very interesting, right? They all seem to be best buds right now, you know? And again, we kind of end that scene there, kind of flash over here, where again, there's the zoom in here is on the clock on the wall, I feel. And then we go back over here and there's a clock again. Time is now passing. Something is like irreversibly changing here. And again, the three love each other. I love you both. I love you. We shut that book. Seems like you're not very pleased about this either. Right, the part you really wanted to read was the rest of this book, right? Where Himari Elementary School, Himari going home, end of friendship, last day of school, something hit my bag. So, complete contrast to the shot we saw just before with the girls walking out, right there. Contrasted to where she is now, right? Where an eraser is thrown at her from the window, right? She is no longer kind of flanked by two of her friends. She is alone. Something has happened to the point where she's become ostracized at school. So very Monogatari too. Oh my god, this shot is so Monogatari. Anyway, shot eraser flying, penguin eraser too, we must remember, says Nono on it, hits her bag, seems like she's a pariah at school, up to and including her two friends that don't want her to return. I still remember it. That was the last day I went to school. That was the last I saw the two of them, at least until they were famous later on. They'd made it as idols, as Double H as opposed to Triple H, which I suggested that we were, right? So, what happened? Now we're getting to what the episode wants to get across. Something happened between then and now to the point where she's been left alone. And again, this kind of obsession with the Penguindrum and going back and changing fate probably has something to do with that. Again, as I've talked about, that explicit focus on family and all of it as well. Saving family, even invoking, again, Barefoot Gen and all of that as well. Very, very cool. 2 years later, Himari encountered these two girls again in an unimaginably cruel fashion. She found out that the two of them were now idols. Again, they didn't give up on their dreams. Dream hit. They were given the opportunity to not give up on their dreams, so to say. So here's my thing. I'm seeing Himari's parents also die between then and now, if that makes any sense, right? So the parents are gone. Is something with the parents going also the same thing that led to her being ostracized at school, becoming a little bit of an outcast? Is that something? And then again, you two had the opportunity to not be able to not give up on your dreams, where Himari wasn't given that same opportunity, therefore tried to change fate, therefore Penguindrum, therefore rock and roll Japan or whatever. Because again, that's what I'm talking about here, because now we turn on the TV and we see a performance of the two other girls, Hibari and whatever her name was, where again, you're left on the kind of couch all alone. Another interesting one is this cherry motif too. French pillow? Triple H French pillow? Because you would have been the white one in the middle? What the hell? Anyway, odd. The cherry stuff's interesting because there was cherries on the ribbon, the ribbon she didn't want. There's some dialogue here as well between Sanetoshi and Himari, where it's like, well, why were you searching for this then? Why did you want to find this memory? I just wanted to make sure it's in the past. I wanted to make sure that that's what was in the past. Again, that's not what she was looking for. She wasn't looking for Save. She wasn't looking for this. She was looking for Saves Tokyo. Right? She's looking for the good ending upon the ending of her own life, almost. Deep down, perhaps you despise the two girls. No, I don't despise them, because they were true friends at the time. I still cheer them on from the bottom of my heart. Now, this must have been in the background the entire time too, because we see the globe here, right? And what's behind it? The two maracas. So again, this did happen, the penguin maracas, right? But then again, why did that happen to such a kind-hearted girl? Again, I'm thinking the parents dying. That's what I'm broadly thinking. And again, finally, the thing I wanted to say, Rock Over Japan, which is the song that plays during the survival strategy sequence. So, amazing. Very, very interesting. Yeah, there's something really heartbreaking about the combination of the music and the shots between, like, kind of Himari thinking here and the TV. What could have been? What if I was given said opportunity and so forth? And again, why did you come here? Did you want to seek the answer here? I don't know. I don't know why I was here. Now, again, whenever you're interested in this particular Double H stuff, it comes with a whole bunch of baggage that we didn't know about before. Probably, again, you can see a lot of stuff on a rewatch in that regard. You say it's in the past, but has the story really ended? As I said, the book you truly want to read from the very bottom of your heart is here. So there exists a reality where what you want to happen happens. This isn't the end of the story. You may think your life is currently ending, but no, The more can happen. The story has yet to end, and what does he pull out? He pulls out the fucking rock penguin fucking headdress. Rock hopper penguin. And yeah, the show goes on, the fucking spotlights come down, and he presents her with this headdress, describing it as a wedding veil bestowed upon the bride of fate. What the hell are you talking about? Now, this speaks to larger conspiracy stuff. I think the Natsume stuff ties into this. I think the Kenzan stuff ties into this a little bit more. Now, you are the bride of fate as opposed to the rose bride. That's something else, and again, carried its own set of connotations. I see what you're doing here, Ikuhara, you crazy man. And I see something like you're enticing her right now with the concept of changing fate to the point of almost using her in this process or something. I don't know what Sanatoshi's deal is my thought. I don't know. Weird. We asked the question, whose bride will I become? The answer to that question is probably at the end, at the destination of fate. The answer to the question of who your husband is going to be is at the destination of fate. Okay. The destination of fate, you should already know that place. I'll tell you the answer when you need me again after you return to your world. Is the destination of fate the Penguindrum? By which we need the diary? By which what? And again, he leans in for a kiss here, tries to give her a little smooch. Until then, here's a smooch maybe. I potentially want to be the husband to your bride of fate. Does that mean you become a god or something? Weird. This is where I'm like question marking everything. Because then she doesn't want to be smooched, right? But she's already been smooched by another person, that being Kanba, without her consent, which was weird. But she says no and puts the finger on the mouth there, and then it all kind of starts to unravel from there, and she falls into the abyss. And then, yeah, she's falling into the void, almost back to consciousness. Hand slips out of other hand, Utena style. This sticker for Penguin Force comes off, and it's Penguindrum Inc., which seems to be this corporation that's everywhere. And we get a book here that is paired with this penguin. So, okay, the thing here that this is telling me is that Himari's got her own book as well, which carries connotations. Is she planning some shit right now, fucking Ringo style? Do they both have their own book that they're kind of following? And again, her book is going to lead her to what she ultimately wants, right? Which again is for her family to be back together broadly, but for her to be part of Triple H. Like Ringo, right? She wants her family to be back together. Oh, here's Project M. Here's, I'm going to fucking sexually assault Tabuki as a means to an end. That's what my book says, but it ends with my family being back together as well. We're kind of enticing these girls to bring their families together in this kind of process. Am I making any sense? Like, I feel like Ringo and Himari are very similar in that regard. And also, don't forget this apple in this as well. Here's this apple. Where this apple seems very important because there was that golden apple outside as well, but also there's Ringo, but also there's Ringo's keychain, but also there's help, send help. Now, please explain to me what the child broiler is. I forgot about this. Oh my god. What is a child broiler? What? Oh yeah, this part. Let's share the fruit of fate. And they're like silhouetted. Thank you for choosing me. This guy's going to be the husband to the bride of fate. I had somebody precious to me back in the day. Kind of inferring, to me at least, that there is a romantic partner eventually for Himari that she will meet. And yeah, again, all that is framed as a dream as Himari is sleeping that night when Ringo's trying to sexually assault Tabuki and Shoma gets hit by the car. Yeah, all that happening on the same night is crazy. And again, she can't quite recall that dream. She can't quite recall all that information that now the audience has. Again, phone rings. She's going to learn this information. But again, explicit focus on these photos too. Again, that meeting at the aquarium, so very important. And both the parents there as well. And yeah, the last reveal of the episode here, as this penguin kind of rolls over, she did get the book that she wanted. Of course, specifically, Super Frog Saves Tokyo. So if you want to save Tokyo, you need to follow what happens in this book. These are the steps that Himari is trying to enact right now. I think she's in a very similar camp to Ringo in that regard. But again, as always, I could be extremely wrong. That is one of the better episodes of television that I've seen. It's very good. Maybe that's too high a praise too early, but I'm floored. I'm very impressed. I've talked about that for a very, very long time. almost to a crazy level. A lot of research in there too. That was great. I loved this. I love everything about this. This is getting to the kind of Utena level stuff that I want out of the show. But again, arguably more dense. There is more mystery here right now than was in outside of some parts of Utena. We're getting to fucking Black Rose arc stuff very quickly, which is crazy. And again, Black Rose stuff in Utena was probably ended up being my favorite stuff. It's so very interesting. It's so good. So yeah, if I'm saying that in the same breath, we're doing something right. Holy shit, I love this show. I can't wait to see more. Discord if you want to see more. Or no, Discord if you want to talk to me. Patreon if you want to see more. Like the video and subscribe. I'm out of here. This was way too long already. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you later. Fuck, this show is weird as hell.